Welcome to Micro Focus Data Discovery. In this session, we're going to look at the Analyze tile. So in the Connect tile, we've connected to a number of different source repositories. We've put some settings on to analyze that data and to do some metadata enrichment, looking for some sensitive data. In the Analyze section, we're going to actually look at the high-level view across that data. So we're going to show some dashboards of what we see in there, and then put some filters on to help us break that down into subsets to then take us to the Manage tile to analyze and take some action. Okay, so let's dive straight into it. The first thing that you show you when you get into the Analyze section is the Sensitive Data dashboard. If you look on the top left-hand corner, you see this hamburger icon. This opens the navigation pane to look at different views. So this can be opened and closed. At the top of the sensitive data dashboard, you get a summary of the data that's in there, and then you get a timeline. So if I open up the timeline to show what happened last year, you can see I started ingesting data just in the 7th of December, and it tells me that the black line shows me the total amount of data, and the red line shows me the amount of that data that was tagged in some form to contain sensitive data. So you can see it's 66%, and that was 60% was all during this time. In a real life scenario, these lines will go up and down as you ingest in more data, as data is tagged. So the difference between these lines shows me how well I'm managing my sensitive data. Here we can see a breakdown based on the reporting groups. So the different types of report groups, and the colors represent the weighting labels. We can see how of all the 66% of the content which is flagged, how much of it is flagged. So the majority of the flagging is in this partially sensitive data. There's a smaller amount in sensitive data and an even smaller amount in highly sensitive data. And just also a very small amount, 7 items, commercial and conference. You can see which cluster had taken in the data. All my data is coming in through the London cluster, but as in a real life scenario, you'd have many more of these clusters coming from different sources, and you could see where the data has come from and see the breakdown of this data. See the repositories, so this is a breakdown by repository type, got a breakdown by file types, and a breakdown by the entities. Each of these are drilled outable. So if I just want to see all the data that contains financial data, for example, I can click on them, and this takes me into the research section. I could go through this research section, just go directly using the research and then start applying the filters. However, the drill down takes us in directly through from the dashboards. So in this research section on the left hand side, I get a number of extra filters. So if I want to break that down by particular range, just look for a particular date range, I can start applying filters. I've got the same filters that we had for defining tags. So I can say only look for a particular, so if I only want to look for bank account numbers, I can filter it by that. So now that all this only shows me the ones that contain bank account numbers. If I want to look for different repositories or different repository types, I can break those down and filter them. So there's a number of different ways that we can break down. As you can see, the ones where we haven't got any internal data or nationalities in there, because as I've already applied the bank account filter. The second column here gives us a list of the items, and we can see the status that these data is in. These items have already been enriched and collected. I can see that there. I can also see that they are contained a sensitive data tag. Then we get a content view. And on the final column, if you click this button here, this opens up the details view. And in the detailed view, I can either look the thing by the data analyst view, the tags, manual tags that were applied, and the metadata view. So you can see the file metadata that has been collected. On the analysis view, you can see the privacy score. So this is a calculated privacy score of this document based on the weighting labels. Each of these items, because they've been enriched, we can actually see the actual values. Until the item's been enriched, you will not see these values. If you click on each one of these items, it highlights the sensitive data in enriched fields and where they are within the document. So this is particularly useful for looking for false positives. The subset of the data here, we can apply more search and then do a new search or edit the criteria. I can then create a workspace. So let's say I want to take some action on this subset of data. So I can create a workspace that will take it through and allow me to take some action to delete or send items to Content Manager. Or I can export this as a CSV file. So export this list to say, right, to do some analysis outside the system. There is another type of dashboard that shows the kind of trending, which is the data analysis dashboard. This shows us not only the tags and the reporting groups and a period that we are analyzing by, but also shows us some kind of trending. So of course, I only did one type of ingestion. And I only did this at a single point in time. So if I did a secondary ingestion, or there was some incremental analysis that was done, then you'll see the trending line. So we can see how these are changing over a period of time. Okay, so that's taken you through the whole section from research through the dashboards to find all the information that you need to see. Okay, thank you very much.